So you have a new double album that has been reissued. So it was a reissue of your first album and then a bunch of cover songs. Is that correct?
That's correct. It was the only solo album I've ever done. It's called As Yet Untitled. And I recorded it shortly after I left Yngwie Malmsteen. And it took a couple of years for me to find a record label to put it out, but they didn't really work it very hard. So I got the rights to the album back and spoke with someone at Store for Music, and they were happy to re-release it because many years ago I'd done a whole bunch of tribute albums. They were very popular in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and a whole bunch of British guys all got together, some really well-known musicians and me, and we recorded tribute albums to loads of different folk, and it was one every week or one every 2 weeks or whatever. And you would get a call on the Monday to go in and learn the songs, and you go in on the Friday and record them, and 3 songs in 3 hours. So you didn't even get to choose them. They just said, well, listen, we're doing Nazareth and you'll sing these 3 songs if you want. So that's kind of how that went down. So it's a nice little package for anybody who doesn't have the original, and even if they do, it's been remastered and 2 bonus tracks have been added, plus all these extra CD with the cover versions, which are quite fun to listen to because I hadn't heard them for a very long time.
Okay. So, looking at those, you have quite a variety of songs on there, from Nazareth Loves Hurts to Whitesnake's Crying in the Rain to even Sam Cooke's Twisting the Night Away. So how did you come up with such a wide range of eclectic songs?
Well, I didn't. That's what I was saying earlier on, was that the guys that were recording them would phone me up and say, hey, man, we're going to be doing a tribute to The Police or T-Rex or Slade or whoever it happened to be. Can you learn these 3 songs? And I would learn them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and go in and record them on the Friday. I don't remember doing Twisting the Night Away. I don't remember doing Let's Spend the Night Together. I don't remember doing Fade Away because I never heard them after that. The Nazareth one I remember doing because I got work out of that. And I've got a couple of the other ones, but it was all done very, very quickly. And, it was a case of in and out. So it was really the record company that just picked what they had and decided that that's what they were going to put on the CD, which I'm quite happy with. It's quite, like you say, it's an eclectic mix.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you sound fantastic on all the tracks, I must say.
Thank you. I'd just given up smoking.
Oh, you have? Okay.
No, I did.
Good.
I had done.
Very good. Well, this past year and a half has been, unlike any other. What did you do to keep yourself busy?
Well, I moved house, so I've been doing the garden and doing repairs around the house and just getting things in order. But I also signed a 3-album deal with a record label called Frontiers, and we'd kind of danced around each other for a number of years. But I was very busy with Michael Schenker. And when all the touring came to an end for us last year, we were supposed to go, we had about 6-7 months worth of work starting off in Japan in the March. And that was cancelled. And we had South America and a tour of the US and Canada, festivals with Iron Maiden and Kiss, blah, blah, blah. That all went by the wayside. So I signed a 3-album deal with Frontiers, and when they hooked me up with a great guitar player and writer from Sweden called Emil Norberg. And so we wrote an album. We started last August, and we wrote an album. The title of the project is Long Shadows Dawn, which was a name I had kicking around for many, many years. That I was maybe going to call an album that. I always had 3 albums I wanted to record. But I just thought we'd call the project that because in my mind, I could see 10,000 people shouting LSD, LSD before we came on, and that kind of appealed to my sense of humor.
Sure.
Then as we were just coming to the end of that, finishing that, I got a phone call from a band called Alcatrazz to tell me that Graham Bonnet had left the band, and would I be interested in doing the tour dates with them. But of course, the tour dates got cancelled, so I suggested that we did a new Alcatrazz album together, which we just finished.
Okay.
The first single, "Turn of the Wheel," is out now, and the next video single comes out next Friday. I think it's maybe the 24th.
Right.
And that's called "Sword of Deliverance." So it's been busy. I did 2 albums in about 7 months.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds very busy. Very good. So, looking back on your career a little bit, when did you realize that you wanted to become a singer?
When I found out I was a rubbish drummer and everybody else was a better guitar player than me.
Okay, very good. And about what age was that?
Well, I mean, I always kind of sang. I enjoyed singing from a very early age. You know, when I heard the Monkees and I heard the Beatles, I always liked voices. You know, and the harmonies of the Bee Gees and that kind of thing. It kind of appealed to me. And my brother is a singer. He's a very good singer, very different from me, but he's more in the sort of Michael McDonald, James Ingram vein. And we used to harmonize together to Deep Purple records. He would be David Coverdale and I would be Glenn Hughes. And I just liked it. And I used to go to church, to a youth fellowship, and some of the guys in there, I think when we were 14 or something, they said, "Oh man, you know, we're looking for a singer for the band. You can sing. Would you like to do it?" And from that moment, I was hooked. You know, I just thought, wow, this is great. And I went out and I bought a PA system and a microphone and all this kind of jazz. And I've been doing it ever since, really. You know, I got a proper trade. I'm a coach builder to trade. I used to build lorries and buses and things. And I worked for the railroads for a few years and repairing their carriages. But singing was always what I like to do. And I'm still enjoying it now. I mean, I'm 60 something now. And I still love it. And I'm missing the live performances terribly.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned Deep Purple. Who else were some of your influences growing up?
David Bowie was massive. David Bowie was massive for me. I think for everybody here in the UK, in July, it might have been 1972. There was a program over here called Top of the Pops, and your listeners will be able to Google this. It was Top of the Pops, and it was he did Starman, and never seen anything like this ever in our lives, and it just it changed the world. That was on a Thursday night, and by the Monday morning, everybody had Ziggy Stardust haircuts.
Right.
And I loved that. And then, of course, I heard Deep Purple, and I heard AC/DC, and I heard Van Halen, that was it for me. I never looked back after that. It was the kind of music. It's the kind of music that I love to play. I love playing it, and I love singing it. That's great.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Actually, I think David Bowie's first concert was here in Cleveland, in the States,
Right.
anyways. Yeah. Yeah, I think in 72. So how about that? Speaking of concerts, do you remember the first concert that you attended, and who was
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. A friend of my brother's. We were at primary school, probably 1972, and one of the guys at school, his grandmother had bought tickets. I think she thought she was going to see Jesus Christ Superstar, right? She bought tickets for a band called Nazareth, and they had a single out called Broken Down Angel. And I think she thought it was going to be something like Jesus Christ Superstar, until they appeared in the local paper, and it terrified the life out of us. So she gave us the tickets, and my brother and 2 friends and myself, we went along. So it was Nazareth were the first band I saw on the Razamanaz tour, and I think that was probably 72, 73, something like that.
Right. Oh, excellent. That's great. So you started to join a couple of bands early on, and then eventually you joined Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. How did that come about?
Well, I had given it. I was very poor when Deep Purple came over with Joe Lynn Turner as the singer, and I I knew a guy who worked at the record company, and I said to him, look, you know, I'm a Purple fan. He went, I know. I said, any chance you could get me a ticket? And he got me a ticket, but he also got me a pass for the after show party. And I thought, this is my chance. I'll see Richie and I'll slip this cassette in his pocket. But he wasn't, of course, he wasn't there. But I recognized Colin Hart from, you know, from the Perfect Stranger album sleeve or something. And I gave it to him and I said, look, if Richie ever needs a singer. And 3-4 years later, Richie called me up and said, I've got a cassette here that I quite like. Can you send me some new material over? Because I haven't heard anything for 3 years, and a recent photograph. So I didn't have anything because I've been doing a lot of sessions for Rondor and for Chrysalis Publishing. And so my little mate Alex Dixon and I sat down and wrote the first song on the solo album, called Come Taste the Band, for fun, because Come Taste the Band at that time was the only Deep Purple album that Richie hadn't played on. And we did it in the Mark IV style, with me singing both Glenn and David's parts, and with Little Al playing like Tommy Bolin. And Richie loved it. He thought it was very funny and very cheeky of me. So that's why I decided to put it on the start of to open the album up. And we did that, and I had Patti Russo joined me rather than me singing both parts. I had Patti Russo. Now, Patti was, you've got Meatloaf behind you there. She was Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light girl for about 14 years.
That's right.
A great friend and a fantastic singer. And she did that for me. And I thought, how can I make this more interesting? And so I asked Tony Carey, who played the keyboards on Rainbow Rising and on Stage, and if he would give me an intro similar to Tara Woman from Rainbow Rising. And he did. And he played keyboards all through that and on another song on the album. And it came out great. I'm very pleased with that song.
Very good. Besides Richie, you've worked with some outstanding guitarists, from Michael Schenker to Yngwie, like you've mentioned. Do you have a particular favorite guitarist that you've worked with?
Oh, Richie was my favorite guitar player from the moment I heard him. You know, I mean, I loved his sound. I loved the notes he played. I loved the spaces he left between the notes. I loved the melody. I loved the fact that he could put a tune into another tune. And he always had that mystery about him, which, you know, when you're 15, 16, 17, even into your 20s, is, you know, was you never, because there was no videos back then. You know, you only got pictures and paper in the music press. There was nothing to see. I'd never seen him play until I saw him in '76 with Rainbow, when Ronnie was fronting the band. And that was mind blowing for me. You know, I'd never seen anything like it. You know, it's still one of the best rock and roll shows I ever went to, and I've been to hundreds. But that one sticks in my mind. You know, Angus was always a great. I love Angus's sound. I love what he does on the guitar. You know, Schenker was always in there as well. Robin Trower's another one whose guitar playing I think is astonishing. It's you know, and I enjoyed my time with Yngwie as well. I mean, that was a different kind of thing for me, but him and I got on really well, and I enjoyed my time with him. He plays too fast for me because I can't hear what he's doing. I can watch him and be amazed. I can watch him go, dear Lord, that's fast, lad. You know, but you know, they're so different. All these guitar players are so different, but enjoyable to work with.
Right. Yeah, very good. And I agree. Yngwie's a little too fast for me too. I would agree with that.
Well, you know, I mean, I used to sit with him. We used to sit and watch the Monaco Grand Prix or some other Formula One Grand Prix, and he would just be sitting there with a little Marshall amp and his Stratocaster playing away. And I've never heard guitar playing like it, you know. And then someone would walk into the room and he would just become Yngwie Malmsteen. But I mean, he's a master of the fretboard, and he understands his instrument really well. But he is Yngwie Malmsteen, so he becomes Yngwie Malmsteen as soon as somebody comes into the room. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
I bet. So, you know, not only have you played and recorded with, you know, a bunch of these artists that you've mentioned, but, you know, you spent a lot of time on the road with them as well. Do you have a memorable story about one of the guys, something that sticks out into your mind?
you know, there's probably not for airing. We always had good fun. You know, Richie would never stay in the same floor as anybody else in the band. You know, he always thought that he always just was somewhere else. And I caught him. I got out the lift one day in somewhere, Sao Paulo, I think, and he was coming along the corridor, and I was suspicious immediately. And I said to him, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I was just checking out your room." And I thought, "Oh no." And so I went in, and nothing had happened. Nothing at all had happened. So that was good. And I got back after the gig, and had a glass of wine and got myself into bed. And he'd been in my room, and he'd taken shaving foam and maybe all his beard hair or whatever, and he'd smudged it all over the bed. I thought, oh, God, because I was going to just go to my bed, have a shower in the morning because I was exhausted. And I went in to have a shower, and he'd filled the bath up, put all the towels in, and all, you know, just silly little things like that. I mean, we always had a good laugh when we were away. He would super glue people's doors closed. You know, I can't get into my room, and he'd have super glued up the lock and things like that. You know, madness. But it was all good fun, and you know, but with Michael, it was always much more. We were older by then, you know, and we were doing a lot more shows. You know, we would do 13 shows in 14 days. So you were 7 on, 1 off, 6 on. So you had to be behaved and go to your bed. So there was never really any hijinks. I don't really. I've got them all somewhere, but I just can't find them at the moment. The stories.
That's okay. That's fine. So, you know, like I say, you've recorded with a bunch of different people. If you could put a super group together with all the musicians that you've played with, who would be your bassist and your drummer and your guitarist, if you could do that?
Well, I would go back to Richie when he played with me. You know, he was on another high when he played with me. He was absolutely out of this world. Because Purple were still massive then, you know, and he'd left them out for a second time, and he had really something to prove, and he was really at the top of his game, the same way that he was when he was on the Rising and Long Live Rock and Roll tours, and the same way that he was in the 70s with Purple. I love playing with Bergie, and I love playing with Greg Smith. And I would have John Lord as the keyboard player. I mean, I did 3 shows with John. John's not around anymore, sadly. I don't know. You know, Bergie and Greg Smith were a great rhythm section. They worked really, really well together. Neil Murray's an amazing bass player, and he can fit in any style as well. I mean, I've got to be careful what I say here in case they hear this and I don't mention them.
That's a tough question. That's okay. That's all right. So we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland, and I know you know, Deep Purple just got in fairly recently, within the last 5 years, which is incredible that they had to wait that long. What's your opinion of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because in my experience, it seems that the Europeans, it's not as a prestigious thing.
No, I don't really pay that much attention to it, and I can tell you why. I don't pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. And it was after 1995. In Japan, Rainbow won Best Live Concert, Best Band, Best Album, Best Song, Best Live Performance. And I got nothing. You know, Richie picked up all these awards. Now, he wasn't the only guy in the stage. He wasn't the only guy that made the album. He wasn't the only guy that wrote the songs. But the people that were in charge said that they considered it a solo project for Richie. So nobody else was getting any awards, even though we'd contributed to all of this. So I never paid any attention to any awards after that, and I never do. The only award I ever accepted, I was in a bar band. In 1999, I was in a bar band in London, and they had awards for the best singer, and I won best singer in a pub band in London, and it was called the Dogs Bollocks Awards, right? And they gave me a gold disc with the Dogs Bollocks Award, and that's the only thing. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. It means nothing to me at all. It's what it's record sales, it's fans coming to see the shows. What these corporate dudes think means nothing to me at all.
Right. Okay. Very good. That makes sense. So now that things are starting to die down a little bit, and things are starting to open up, do you guys have any plans to tour with Alcatrazz or solo, or what are your plans for the rest of the year?
We've got Alcatrazz dates here later on in the year. The UK is opening up on Monday. I give it a month, 6 weeks, and it'll all be shut back down again. It's this new Delta virus variant of the virus is not going away. And foolishly, over here, I mean, I can't speak for any other country, but over here in the UK, they allowed 60,000 people into Wembley at the weekend. They allowed 25,000 people into Wimbledon at the weekend. And they've got 120,000 people turning up for the British Grand Prix. And that's only going to just spread it even more because, nobody pays any attention to any of the rules or regulations that have been put in place to keep us safe. Now, I don't know whether it's, a lot of people think that it's fake and a lot of people don't believe in this, that, the next thing. That's not my deal. I can only deal with what I understand. And they're going to open up Monday. And I'll bet you it won't be 2 months before this thing's taken off again over here in the UK. Mark my words.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not good. I know here in the States things are a little bit better. We've been open since June, and knock on wood, our numbers are going down. So we just need to get more people vaccinated. That seems to be the problem.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, over here in the UK, we've got a lot of people are vaccinated. The over 50s who are not vaccinated are people who choose not to be vaccinated, and that or who cannot get vaccinated because they have medical conditions that prevent them from being vaccinated. I don't know what it's like in America because I don't live there and I don't really see what's going on over there. But it'll be less than 2 months before this place is in lockdown again, or the variant's taken over and people are catching it and dying in the thousands again. And I'm not a professor of medicine. This is only my opinion. I don't know.
Well, for sure.
There's no basis in fact here. It's just what I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're aware of the Delta variant, but hopefully it stays over in the UK. We don't want it. We don't.
Well, I was supposed to be in Boston this weekend. We were supposed to be doing videos and photo shoots and things for Alcatrazz, and I just said I'm not going. I'm not going to go and sit in a plane and travel for 8-10 hours or whatever it is for videos and a photograph. That's just not going to happen. And then when I come back, I've got to self-isolate for 10 days and all that kind of nonsense. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know. No one knows. That's the thing. Nobody actually knows. Everybody's only got opinions. And we know what opinions are like, right?
No, absolutely. Yes, I do. So, being from Cleveland here, and I'm sure you've played, around the area many times. Do you have a particular memory of playing in Cleveland, Ohio?
Getting lost. We played at a venue. I played with a venue down by the river with Yngwie Malmsteen years ago, and I thought I would go up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I think it was closed. And I couldn't find my way back to the venue, and I couldn't remember the name of the venue. So I was just a wandering Scotsman, not knowing where he was going. I'm thinking, good God, I know it was down by the river, but where?
Was it Peabody's Down Under? Something like that?
Yeah, it could have been. Could very well have been. But luckily, we had a big tour bus, so I saw that. So that was my guiding light back to the venue, and that's kind of Ohio for me, really. I mean, I've played other places there as well, but I don't remember where.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, Doogie, I tell you what, I wish you nothing but success on your new CD. I think it's fantastic. Again, I particularly like the wide ranging of songs on the bonus CD, and
Yeah,
hopefully, with Alcatrazz and things calm down, you might be able to get over here and we'll see you live.
that's the ambition of everybody. Every rock and roll musician in the world just wants to get back to playing again. And I can say that, because I know that to be true. I speak to enough of them. We just want to get out there and play, and we want the audiences to come out and see us, but we want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
that's really, it's really important. I saw today that one of the guys from Poison he'd been double vaccinated, and he'd caught the Delta variant as well. So it's a real thing. No
For
matter
sure.
what Uncle Ted says.
Uncle Ted.
And he's had it.
He
He's had
caught
it
it
as well,
too.
and he denies it. I mean, it's mental. People are people are crazy. People are crazy. Yeah. But anyway, listen. I wish you all the best. I wish you all safe and happy times, and take care of yourself.
You too. Thank you so much.
Cheers,
Appreciate it.
man.
All
Thanks a
right.
lot. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.